Awesome. So I think we are all here. Thank you so much for your patience. I just had to grab Kata's login. I think people in Aussie are doing a bit of runaround because their shops are about to close. But yeah, essentially I'm just here to hang out with you guys, and I've been really looking forward to this, like knowing that there's going to be a bunch of people I can hang out with soon. So put your questions in the chat if you have any along the way. Essentially, I'm just going to talk to you guys about what I know. I've been a makeup artist for 10 years now, and I'm just going to walk you through an everyday look right through to like going out, and hopefully teach you guys a few things about doing makeup that's like unique to you guys, to make you feel your best, because the same makeup style doesn't always suit everyone, and it's about figuring out what works for your face and your style, and just everything like that. So I'm going to start with makeup brushes. I have some questions already, which I've written down to make sure that I'm answering everyone's questions, but if you do have them as I go, please let me know. I'm going to start with makeup brushes because someone said they want a rundown of why makeup brushes are important, and I'm going to also tell you about how to care for them. So this is the Arbonne makeup brush set, which as a professional makeup artist I stand by. It's only like $50 or $60. It comes with this cute wee pouch, the makeup brush is on this side, and then here you can stick all your makeup. So it's super compact and easy to lug around if you're traveling, which not many people of us are doing. But this is what it comes with. These are just my ones, so I'm going to close this. But what it comes with are these 6 brushes here. So you've got your big face brush, your more contour brush, you've got your foundation brush, a big fluffy eyeshadow brush, a more smaller compact eyeshadow brush, and an angle brush. And I believe this is all you need. So I'm also going to show you some alternatives, and it's really important to care for your makeup brushes as well. So you can wash them literally with just your normal body wash, and yeah, make sure that you squeeze out the water, reshape them, and dry them flat. If you just wash them all the time with alcohol, you're going to lose the shape, and then your brush isn't going to do what you want it to do. This is another example of a foundation brush. So this is the one that comes in a set. They also can come something looking like this. It's quite fluffy, it's not very dense, but you can also get really dense ones. By the way, I have washed my hands before I have gotten started. But yeah, so I believe that that is an awesome makeup brush set to get you started, and that brushes are important for your makeup. But also you can also put your foundation on with your fingers. If that's the look you're going for, then like absolutely go for gold. If you like what it does to your skin, how it feels, and it gives you the effect you're after, go for gold. But I do think makeup brushes do make all the difference. So I'm going to start with, actually I'm going to start with a primer, of course. So this is our makeup primer. It's a pore filler, and in my opinion, kind of like the popular Benefit Professional, but better. And I just put that over my T-zone to just help have an even makeup application. So yeah, you don't have to be too precise, it's just clear. So one of my questions was how to use a highlighter stick. So I don't have a highlighter stick, but I do have this liquid highlighter, and it's essentially the same principle, right? So it's just a liquid highlighter, or you can also get like liquid bronzers. But essentially you get your product, and this is the stage that I do it. You can also do it after your foundation, before your powder, but I just want to put the highlighter on the high points of my face. And I'm wanting to put it in areas where I want to essentially draw attention to, and look nice and glowy without looking like oily. So I like to put it under my foundation just to give it that nice glow. So that's what I would do with my highlighter at that point. Now we go on with our foundation. So this is a Perfecting foundation. I freaking love this. What we were trying to achieve with our base is essentially the max amount of coverage using the least amount of product. We don't want to look like we're wearing makeup, but we do want to look like we've got an even complexion. So this achieves this. And believe it or not, in the professional makeup world, it's hard to find, well, hard before Arbonne, to find a lightweight, high coverage foundation. And this is exactly it. So this is Honey Beige. So I'm going to pop a little bit on my hand, or you could use something like a little disc or CD as well. As a professional makeup artist, that's what you would use. But on myself, I'm just going to do it like this. You could also directly just pump it straight on your face. I personally like a little bit more control. So I'm going to just start literally painting it on, except you don't want, I'm just going to get a makeup pen, a mirror. So you make sure you don't want to see any lines. And you don't need to pick up more product as you go around the face. If you're still getting the coverage you like from what's left on your brush, don't feel like you have to pick up more product. Like I said, we're just trying to get the max amount of coverage using the least amount of product. I always need to go down my neck because in the summertime, my face and my body are very, very different colors. So I need to blend downwards. So that's just one half of my face done, just with one light layer. So I'm going to go in just for a little bit more coverage on some areas. So you can use your brush a little bit differently. You can stroke, you can kind of buff, you can place it. I find I don't need a concealer with this product. So it's so highly pigmented that if I have any blemishes, which I do at the moment, I don't need a concealer. I just layer the foundation up, which is awesome. Another pump there. And I'm going to do the other side so you can see how it's just even now. It's made it a little bit brighter. It's awesome. Essentially, all of these products, Arbonne products, are trying to mimic the natural glow of our skin. And that truly is the case when you put it on. Down the neck. A little bit under the eyes, because why not? We like our under eyes to be nice and bright. Makes us appear more youthful. Cool. So you can see I'm looking a tad washed out. It's a little bit to do with the light that I'm sitting in, and just a tad too light, but there's ways, and I'll show you how to bring it back. Cool, so that is the face done. So you could also, just going back to the highlighter question, put it on now. You don't want to put liquid on top of powder products as a general rule. If it looks fine and you've tried it and you like the look, absolutely go for gold. But as a general rule, wet products you don't put on top of dry products. So I'm now, yeah, you could put your highlighter on top. As you can see that it's shining through, a little bit of sheen here. But now I'm going to set that product. So I'm going to grab a smaller brush because I want to get in the contours of my eyes. So I'm going to grab our Setting Pretty makeup setting powder. You can also use this as a dry shampoo, fun fact. And I'm going to pick some of that off. I love this product. There's like a little mesh thing so it never spills, and it picks up the perfect amount of product. So I'm going to pop that under the eyes, and look how much brighter that looks just with a little bit of powder. And what this is doing is setting your makeup so it doesn't slide around during the day. And it's also ensuring that any product around our eyes, because we quite often have lines around our eyes, not necessarily wrinkles, but lines, and our wet makeup products, our foundation, can settle in. So what this is doing is ensuring that that makeup is staying put, not settling in any lines, and therefore not exaggerating. So I love, love, love this product. You can put that all over your face to set it. But what I do is I go back in with our mineral foundation as a setting powder for the rest of my face. So once again, it's that cute wee mesh top. And this is going to bring some of that colour back. You can see how this is more my colour. So if your foundation changes a lot during the year, this is just a little hack to bring it back. So you can see how this face, as if I have two, the side of my face is starting to look a little bit better in terms of the colour matching. And what I'm doing is I'm patting it in. I don't want to swipe it because I'm not wanting to move or risk moving any of the product under, which is our foundation. And this also adds a little bit of coverage as well. Side note, you can absolutely just use this as your foundation if that's the level of coverage you want to go for. Or we have a CC cream. I'm talking about Arbonne because I'm using all Arbonne products today. We have a CC cream, which also is light to medium coverage, gives you a beautiful dewy look if that's what you're into as well. But like I said, I love the Perfecting foundation because it to me just does everything, no matter what you want, light, medium or heavy coverage, it does. So next we're going to move on to contouring or bronzing. So this was one of my questions. Someone wanted me to do half of my face with contour or bronzer to show the difference in the importance and kind of how to do it. So there's a couple of ways you can do your contouring, right? So it's actually like contouring where you're trying to create essentially an illusion of whatever you want to achieve. So for me, it's like a smaller face, right? Or you could be, say you can even contour your nose. If you have insecurities about your nose, you can contour it to make it look smaller. So where you put the bronzer is where you're creating shadow, and that's essentially reducing the attraction to that area on your face. So unlike the highlighter where we place it on the high points where I want to attract attention, with the bronzer you're trying to reduce the attention from that area. So you can contour with the bronzer, which I'll show you, or you can just kind of use it as a sun-kissed like look, and then that's when you place it on the areas of your face where the sun naturally hits. So you would get your bronzer. So either one of these, as you can see, this is well loved. I absolutely love it. And you get your bronzer. So this is a matte one. This is more of a shimmer one. The matte I like to use in winter, and the shimmer I like to use in summer. No reason, that's just like what I like, and makeup is about what you like. And you can absolutely pick up some tips and tricks, but if you like what you're doing and it works for you, absolutely go for gold. There are no rules. So pick up some bronzer, and I'm going to do the contouring. So I want to put it under my cheekbone, and you can kind of see how there's already a bit of a shadow here. So I'm just following that natural guide. And then this is going to essentially make the top of my cheekbones pop and make it look like my face isn't so rounded. It's got a little bit of a contour. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to exaggerate this shadow, and I'm going to put it just above the highest point on my eyebrow, really lightly. I haven't re-dipped in my product. I'm just using what's left on my brush, and I'm going to make sure that's even. That's what I'm kind of doing, and I could go just on the top of my hairline because that's where the sun's going to naturally hit. So you're essentially kind of doing this, I guess. The next one I'm going to do is under my chin. Now, you don't really like see this per se, but it's just something to just add a little bit of interest and trying to reduce some of the bulk that some of us may get under here. So you're essentially creating a 3. That's kind of like an easy way to look at it. And then I want to make sure that my face matches my chest, so I'm going down my neck. You may not need to go down your neck, absolutely just like see if you need to. All of these steps are optional. So that's one side of my face done, and that's nose side. So you can see like it's no contouring. So you can see it's like a little bit flat, and this one just has a little bit more interest. And when you're combining all these little tips and tricks, that's when you're going to get like a makeup look that's just slightly more interesting, I guess, or slightly more flattering, or whatever you're trying to achieve. So I'm just going to do the other side. So if you've put on too much bronzer, which is absolutely possible, it can be quite a scary product to work with if you're not used to the pigment or the tool that you're working with. So you can just go back in with the powder brush, a big powder brush, and you can just reduce a little bit of the edges. Can you see how there was just a little bit too much product here, and I just kind of like wiped it away and soften those edges. Bit on the nose because that's where the sun would naturally hit. So yeah, that's essentially contouring of the face. The next thing that you could do is contouring the nose. So grab your big fluffy brush in your brush set. And this is not something I do, but I'm just going to show you kind of what people could do. So say you want your nose to look a little bit slimmer. I'm just going to use my mirror. You are essentially wanting to draw attention to the top ridge and reduce the look of, we'll see like the end of my nose is like quite round. I want to reduce the roundness. I just want to make it look skinnier, right? So if you just go down your nose, and I've got a little bit too much product on here, but that's okay. And can you see how that has just started to reduce the size of my nose? Oh my gosh. If someone just came on and that was the starting point, in fact, Lauren, I think that was you. This is going to seem so random, but I'm just giving an example of what you can do with contouring, and some people like to contour their nose. So it's essentially darken the areas you don't want the attention to be, which for me is around here because I'm wanting to stop my end of my nose looking so round. Not something I'm concerned about, but for this exercise, and that isn't going to create a shadow, so reducing attention away from that area, and then you're going to be emphasizing just the straight ridge of your nose. Or if you have a wonky ridge, you can literally just even contour that so there's not so much attention on your nose altogether. So that's contouring in a nutshell, but do leave some questions in the chat if you want me to go more in depth. So I'm just looking at my questions just to make sure that I'm covering them all. So the next is blush. So blush can be a really individual thing. So you could put it on the apples of your cheeks. I personally don't want to do that because I don't want to attract attention to the chubbiest part of my face. So I'm wanting to just kind of give a little bit of interest. It's not even like, oh, she's wearing blush. It's just a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to start about here and just go backwards from there. Not on the top of our cheekbones, not as close to our contour, but somewhere in the middle. And really, really lightly. So the next thing is highlighter. So highlighter is where you're wanting to attract attention to the face, and some popular or what's the word? Yeah, I guess just popular places to put the contour is on the top of the cheekbones. So I'm going to wipe off the excess of my brush, grab some highlighter, And you can see the sun was naturally hitting here because we put some liquid foundation, liquid highlighter on there earlier, but I just want to really lightly get it to attach to the top of my cheekbones, just to give a little bit of a healthy glow. And the excess on my brush, I'm just going to chuck on my eyelids, down your nose, on your forehead, on your chin, upper lip. The upper lip kind of gives you that more like pouty look. So yeah, that's what I would do with highlight. I think dipped once or twice. I don't want a whole heap. It's very pigmented. So once again, it's just in this palette here. So these were my bronzers for contouring or just looking sun-kissed, highlighter, and then blush, as you can see, well loved. So yeah, that is all of the face products done. And now we are going to move on to the brows. So I had a question about the brows, which was, how do I fill them in without looking angry with a pencil? So I had a think and I was like, okay, so what makes a brow look angry? And I think it's focusing attention on the inside of our brows, on the thickest part, when we may not even need to put product there. So I guess it's like with makeup in general. If like you're happy with how it looks anyway, why add just because we're told we need to, right? So I'm going to grab an eyebrow pencil. So this is not what I actually use. I actually use where is it? I actually use the brow cream because I believe it's the perfect combo of a pencil and a gel, and you can get precision as well as hold and everything like that. So I'm going to do one each. So I'm going to start with the pencil though, because that was what the question was around, was how do you not get angry brows with a pencil? So I'm not going to focus attention where it's not needed. So most of us have quite a lot of definition or more depth or hair or whatever you want to say in the middle, right? So we don't necessarily, eyelash, make a wish. We don't necessarily need product there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip that area, or if you do need product there, just do it really lightly. And you essentially want to imitate natural hair strokes. So you may not need much, just be really, really light. Like I don't even think I'm touching my skin. I think I'm just filling out the hairs, and you can see how it's ever so slightly darker. And I'm going to go back in with my spoolie, is that what you call it? I don't know. And I'm going to get the shape that I want. And I'm going to get a little bit harder as I go out. And I'm not going outside the shape of my brows, but if you do need to create shape where there is no hair, just try and make sure that your strokes are really light and you're trying to imitate the look of hair. You don't just want a block of color. And something that might seem a little bit strange is, if you think about it, quite often our hairs are actually always just going in this direction, like upwards a little bit. They don't actually grow too far downwards or too exaggerated in that direction. So just build up the shape that you're after and have a play around with the shape that you actually want or like. Someone's home as well. And that is going to help you figure out what you like, because it's not about what looks good on someone else. It's about what you like and what the look that you want to go for. So that's literally my brow with the brow pencil. And how handy, I was grabbing my other one, and there's one right here. Cool. So next I'm going to show you my absolute favorite, and you can use these as a combo, but I'm all about just the quickest option possible. And like I said, this is to me a combo of everything brow product in one product. So this is the brow cream. It's in dark or medium dark. I'm going to start in the middle of the thickest part of my brow, in this forward area. And because if I have a whole lot of a glob of product on my brow, little spoolie thing, I don't want to put that in the first instance right in the middle. If I've accidentally got extra product, I want it to be hidden by the fact that it's in the middle of my brow, and then I can taper it all out. So usually one dunk is good to do 2 brows. As you can see, this was so easy. And there we have it, literally like 2 seconds. I would go do the other one now. In fact, I am, just to keep it all in place. Even as a makeup artist, I was not jazzed about brows, and I know a lot of people are all about them. This changed my brow game on myself and for my clients. Like, I'm just absolutely all about it. It's so easy. It's so foolproof. It comes in 2 different shades. I just love it so much. So hopefully that helps you figure out how to do your brows so you don't look angry. I know that was a question. Cool. So now we're going to go on to the eyeshadow. So essentially, by the way, we have been going for a few more minutes, but this step, in fact, yeah, all these steps, I would now put mascara on and lips on, and I would be done. Just a lip product that I like. And this is my everyday makeup, and it takes me less than 5 minutes. So now we're going to go on to things that you can do that like just kind of amp it up a little bit and give you a bit of a different look. Say you're going out, you want to look a little bit more special or done up. This is kind of how I would do my eyeshadow. So I'm also going to show you something that I would do like eyeshadow just for work, right through to like going out and like eyeliner and everything. So firstly, we're going to start with an eyeshadow primer. It is not required, but it does definitely help your eyeshadow just become more pigmented, and you can literally just put this on your eyelid. It is the same color as your skin generally, but if you do have darker skin, it is lighter, and then it is going to make your eyeshadow pop. So it's not trying to be skin colored, it's trying to be a color to make your eyeshadow pop. So just spread that out, and then I go in with and I'm going to be using the limited edition Arbonne eyeshadow and highlighter kits today, because I believe even though they have colors that may not be your everyday color, like this deep red and this green, I'm going to show you like just general everyday ways to use those colors where you're like, oh, it looks like a color, I don't want to use that, but actually they can be super wearable. So now I'm going to grab my big fluffy eyeshadow brush, which is in the brush set, and I'm going to grab the lightest color. So this is like a mauve color, but when you've got it on, it's just kind of just a general light color. So I'm going to pop that all over my lid just to make an even base. So we want a really dry base to start our eyeshadow. There's nothing worse than putting an eyeshadow on and it looks all patchy, and that generally comes down to the eyelid being a little bit wet, whether that be from our natural oils or from the foundation that we popped on them earlier. This is also a great way, the steps that I've done so far, to hide any, like, you know, those little blue veins on your eyelids. Just hide those. So that was easily done. This is now our designated light colored brush. So don't go dipping into a black with this until I tell you to, but I won't be telling you to. But essentially keep your eyeshadow brushes the one for dark or one for light, and that's going to help you get a more defined look as well. So next I'm going, well, actually same brush again, I'm going to grab the medium tone. You can use your bronzer for this. So, and I'm going to pop that in my crease. So everyone's crease is placed differently. You may not even have this area where you can see your eyelid when your eyes are open, but this is going to make essentially the attention go to your eyelids and making your eyes look a little bit wider. If you don't have so much of a lid, you may not even need to do this step. So you don't have to create steps if it's just you can't even see it, right? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. If you have very little lid space, you actually can do less work and have the maximum impact. And I'll tell you down the track a little bit what you can do. So essentially with eyeshadow, the idea is I'm wanting to brighten my eyes and make them wider. That's essentially, I believe, what we're trying to do. We're trying to attract attention by making them just look big and sparkly and wide. So that's why I'm popping the shadow on top of my lid in my crease rather than on my eyelid there. Okay. So essentially, work makeup, that's where I would stop, and I would just do mascara and be done. We're going to just beef it up a little bit more, and we're going to go on with a little bit of a darker color. So this is where our dark green or our dark red comes into play. And today, I think I'm going to go with the red. So I've grabbed my more dense eyeshadow brush. I've dipped into the product. I'm going to tap off the excess because I don't want things falling on my face. And I'm going to place this. So I'm not going to swipe. I'm not going to buff or anything like that. I'm just going to place the product. So this is a step that you can do if you have more almond shaped eyes whereby you don't have much lid space up here. And all we're going to do, no matter what your eyeshadow space looks like, is with a more densely packed flatter brush, we're going to place the product on the outer third of our eye. So can you see how it's, by depositing that product, you're kind of getting a more, even though the eye looks like it's closed a little bit more, you're creating more attention and almost like, I don't know, like, I can't think of any other word except like more sassy, more sexy or whatever look. So you place it there, and even though it's red, it's kind of looking a little bit darker. We're creating depth. So the other thing you can do, if you have smaller space up here, that may be all you need to do with mascara to make it look like more done up. What you can also do is just pop, once again, place the product and use it if you need to buff out the edges. You don't want to see any edge of you placing the product. You do want it to look buffed, but hopefully by putting that bronzer color in our crease, that's helped us kind of buff in reverse. But do bring that brush back if you need and buff around the edges and just place the product. So once again, we're creating a more like elongated look, making our eyes look a little bit bigger. I'm going to do this side. And start with less. You can always add more, but it can be hard to take away. But if you did need to take away product, just grab a really fluffy brush, not that I need to do it, and just go around the edges really softly until you have the shape or the look or the density that you're after. So this one's a little bit more dense because I've been dipping in a few times. There's more product on the brush now. So it needs a little bit more buffing, and I'm just going to even them up. Also, just the shadow on the side is a little bit darker, so that's why it's looking more intense. So yeah, make sure that you're sitting in nice lighted area, just so you're not getting confused with thinking that your skills are doing something that actually the lighting is doing. So yeah, that is placing our product. That could be a little bit scary, like the red product or the green one, our eyeshadow, sorry. And now I'm going to go in and create even more depth. So we're still using our darkest shade, darkest eyeshadow brush that's reserved for our dark colors. I'm going to dip into this dark matte brown. So I believe it's important. So we've used all matte colors except for this red one, which is a little bit shimmery. And so I believe it's important to use a matte shadow for this step because we're trying to create depth, and shimmer creates attention. So we're trying to create depth, so I'm going to chuck that dark brown shadow in the corner. Essentially where we put that red shadow, but we're just covering less space. So you won't even see it when you're like looking forward, but it's creating depth in the crease. And don't be afraid to also apply the shadow while your eyes are open. You could close them, but I believe keeping them open is going to give you the look that everyone else is seeing, rather than closing one eye and trying to do something when really you're not going to go around like this. So this is essentially what I believe is the most flattering way. I'm just going to grab my lighter brush just to tidy up in the middle here. To create a really flattering, like smoky look eye. We essentially, with this type of smoky eye, when we're creating the smoke kind of on the outer third and in the crease, it's essentially like more flattering, I believe, and more foolproof. Than taking a dark product right into the edge of our eye and then risk looking like we've been punched in the eye. And for me, like I said, I'm trying to create like the illusion of a smaller face. So if I'm creating a round dark look all over my eye, that essentially could be like I just have two round circles making my whole face look like a big round circle. And also just darkness in here, we're essentially trying to avoid that. We are using our eye creams and our eye gel masks and all that kind of jazz, and to whiten and brighten, not whiten, just brighten, and help our lines and things like that. And yeah, creating darkness in here just for the majority of people just isn't the most attractive thing, but by all means try it. So from this step, if you did want to do a full-on smoky eye with the whole product, dark product across the lid, start like this and then just go and pop that brown shadow all across the lid, and then that would be your smoky eye essentially. So just going to look at my questions just to make sure I am addressing everything for everyone. Yeah, so now we're on to liner. So that would be how I would do my smoky eye for pretty much all occasions, or just my more attractive eye look. Kata just said a lot of us have got our time wrong. So she's not on at the moment. That's why I'm using her login. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I triple checked it because I'm chronic with that. But living in Vancouver has made me be more vigilant. But yeah, hopefully you're on, but you can catch the recording because I am recording this if not. So now we're going to go eyeliner, and I've got two eyeliners because someone wanted to see a winged liner. So I'm going to start with a pencil liner, and this is how I pop on eyeliner, but you may have a different way. But essentially I am going to pull my eye and then place the product on the upper third. And then you're going to grab a angled brush, which is in your brush set, and soften the lines if you need to. Once again, I'm just popping it on the outer third because I don't want to put darkness in the middle. And so most people associate winged liners with liquid liner, but you don't necessarily, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. If you grabbed your angled liner and you just drag the product out and let the shape of the angled brush, create that wing for you. And I've done it so many times, I hardly, this isn't very good quality, so it's not really acting like a mirror. I know that that's what it's doing. But essentially, it's not my skill, it's just being able to trust this angled brush. So that's one way to create winged liner. The other way, and I don't do it very often because I just love this way, it's more softer and whatnot, is to grab a liquid liner. This is not an Arbonne one because, like I said, I don't do it very often. And you're going to let the product do its job. So it's already a point, and I'm going to place it. I'm not going to drag it. And once again, I'm not going right into the middle. We're going to thicken out the end, and I'm going to let the product do its job, using that tip to create the wing. And that's how you do wing liner. So just really small little strokes. Less is more, so start small, and then you can go bigger from there. Okay, cool. So the next question is about overlining lips, because that is essentially the last step. I feel like I've done everything apart from mascara, and now lips are up. So the question about the lips was how to overline, how to do those like popular, like, I guess for lack of a better word, like Kylie Jenner lips. And I really had to think about this, like overlining, like where do we go wrong? What are we trying to achieve? And what I think, sorry, one moment. Is this the day that I don't get mascara on my nose? It would be amazing if it is. Yay! Best mascara ever. What I think is we think that we need to do the liner, we think that we need to do the liquid lipstick, and we think we need to do like all of these steps, but essentially it's just finding out what is attractive for you. And if you don't wear much makeup and then you're trying to do this big like overlined lip look, it's going to look a little bit odd. So this is what I like to do to create that like more like, I guess, like luscious look, is get a liquid lipstick. So these are the Arbonne ones, they're like a duo. And this is, I think, the key, is not just sticking with a liquid lipstick, is going with mixing it with a gloss as well. So these are the colors that you could do it with all of them. I'm going to stick with the more natural look. So I'm going to, firstly, if you're not so much used to a liquid lipstick, you can start with the gloss. You can do that. You can mix them like that. But what I'm going to do is grab the product and grab quite a bit of it and just put your lipstick on like normal, right? So you don't want to start overlining right now at all. Just follow the normal contours of your lips, especially at the edges. Go into the edges. It's going to make it look more refined by using virtually no skill. Use what your mama gave you. And then this is what I think the difference is. Rather than like overlining on the outer, leave the outer alone and focus more on the middle. And this is the trick that I think will make the difference, is get a little bit more product and take away some of your Cupid's bow. So just make it go straight across. And if you dare, go up just a tiny amount, just above your lip line. And that is what I believe the key is. Unless you do want to go with the whole, the big lip look, and then grab some of your gloss and then pop it just in the middle. Essentially, we're highlighting for the lips. So create a shadow at the sides, but attention to the middle to make them look bigger and wider and more luscious. So now we're going to finish off with our finishing spray. I love this stuff. The mist is so fine. And there we have it. I hope that has like taken you from like normal 5-minute face that we want to do every day right through to being able to go out and do the biggest amount of full face makeup. So yeah, if you have any questions, just reach out to me. And yeah, I hope you just had fun. Literally, that's like my only goal. And yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye.